In Chapter 21, Barker effectively uses symbolism to influence the reader's view of Rivers and Yealland. Symbols represent something other than the object or thing they name and affect the way readers understand an event. Symbols have a hefty impact on readers due to the reason that if something were stated in a clear-cut manner with a denotative meaning, then the reader wouldn't plunge into the depth of the literary piece, and it wouldn't have a great impact on them, as they can't perceive their own idea while reading. With symbols, various meanings leave room for interpretation and allow readers to engage in and think further about the story. Chapter 21 starts off with Rivers sitting on a hard chair in the corner of the electrical room. Barker's use of the description, hard chair, symbolizes that Barker will be placed in a hard and difficult position later on in the chapter. The positioning in the corner suggests that Rivers will have no say in what is to happen and he will be away from the action. The patient's chair is described as a simile and is like a dentist's chair. Typically, a dentist is a place that people dread going to due to the fear of the pain they will endure. However, by the end of a session at the dentist, the original pain will be relieved and the problem will be solved. In this case, despite the fact that Yealland's methods, although cruel and harsh, they will lead to the patient getting cured despite suffering in the process. The chair has straps in the arms and around the footrest for physical control over a person and preventing the person from breaking free. During Callan's electrocution, Yealland is in control of Callan. The straps in the chair further portray Yealland's methods as being cruel and depict his authority. Yealland pulls down the blinds, causing the room to be in darkness. The darkness symbolizes evil, tragedy, and Yealland's bad intentions. The light from the overhead lights was reflected off Yealland's white coat and up onto his face. His white coat symbolizes his profession as a doctor, but however, the image of the light shining onto his face is quite creepy and scary, just like when you shine a torchlight up to your face. It gives readers a spooky feel, causing the readers to feel afraid of and worry of Yealland as a doctor and figure of authority. Then, Yealland inserts a tongue depressor into Callan's mouth, which keeps Callan's tongue down and prevents him from speaking. In stark contrast to Rivers' methods of curing patients that the readers have encountered earlier on in the novel, Yealland is in a way silencing Callan from expressing his feelings about the war. Rivers, during all the time, scarcely moved. His empathy with the man in the chair kept him still. Since Callan himself never moved, except once to flex the fingers of his trapped hands. This sentence symbolizes that Rivers is starting to develop similar viewpoints on the war as a patient, and sets the readers up for later in the novel when Rivers realizes that he may be beginning to develop war neurosis. Barker's choice of words to describe Rivers' actions as scarcely moved symbolizes that Rivers is unable to do anything about the way Yealland is treating Callan or stop the electrocutions. It could also symbolize that Rivers is frightened by the events taking place before his eyes and is too shocked and terrified and is unsure of how to react. During Callan's treatment, if Callan were to substitute ah for any other sound, the current was reapplied by Yealland. In the scene, Yealland represents authority and Callan represents soldiers in the war. As Callan suffers and endures the harsh consequences when he defies Yealland, during war times, when soldiers defy authority during the war, they will be court-martialed. When Callan stumbled as he walked, Yealland supported him, depicting Yealland as being a caring, fatherly, patriarchal figure. The idea of Yealland being a patriarch is further developed through the symbol of having Callan repeat the sounds of the alphabet, days of the week and months of the year. In this scene, Yealland is treating Callan like a baby or a child, as if he were teaching a child to speak. In addition, by using Callan to represent all of Yealland's patients, this not only portrays Yealland as having no regard for Callan, but for all of his patients. To continue, up and down they went, up and down, in and out of the circle of light around the battery. The actions up and down and in and out symbolize the tone and the mood of the session fluctuating up and down. Such is how Yealland is 1 minute pleased with the way the session is going, then the next he's angry and impatient. Another minute later, he's satisfied again. This scene depicts how Yealland is quite unstable due to his mood swings. After a point in time, repeating the sounds of the alphabet, Callan starts to only repeat ba and not loud. After a point of time, repeating the sounds of the alphabet, Callan starts to only repeat ba, not loudly, but venomously. The word venomously means deadly or full of poison or toxins. This suggests that Callan, and remembering that Barker uses Callan to represent all patients under Yealland, has such hatred towards Yealland that he may wish death upon him. Lastly, Yealland has Callan. Barker's choice of having Callan repeat ba, 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 and not another alphabet sound such as a or ka is quite significant, as it allows the reader to read deeper into the importance of this and what it symbolizes. Ba, ba is the sound a sheep makes, and in this case, Callan is akin to a sheep, as sheep are symbols of sacrifice and are led to the slaughter. But the most dominant connotation of all would be that sheep are easily led and are easily frightened, and Yealland is taking advantage of this by striking fear and pain into Callan, exerting his power over him and silencing him. Lastly, Yealland has Callan recite the days of the week. Callan begins with Sunday, and Barker concludes with the phrase, Saturday came at last. Saturday is the last day of the week, the day of rest, and this symbolizes that they're finally coming towards the end of their session. During the session, at one point, Barker mentions how Rivers couldn't tell whether Yealland's anger was acted or real, but there was no doubt about the strength of the current being applied to the neck in shock after shock. This could symbolize that Rivers is beginning to feel unsure about many things, and perhaps indicate that he is unsure of what he's doing. His job of sending patients back to the war, only for them to die, is the right thing, and whether the war is pointless or necessary, which is what happens in the next chapter of the novel. But there is no doubt that the war was to continue for longer, and new patients would keep coming in as the old ones check out. In conclusion, Barker uses symbolism to describe and set the readers up for Rivers doubting himself and his job in the next chapter, and to describe Yealland as being a cruel and harsh doctor.